Hello besties, so I'm going to be showing you how to take your wig from this clunky dusty to this clean, sleek and perfect. So watch this video to the end guys, because I'm going to be showing you a full tutorial on how to machine wig and get your stitches and your wig looking as clean and perfect as this. So watch to the end, don't go anywhere, and we are going to be back. Look at this, don't you want that? Keep watching besties. So hello guys, if you're new to my page, this is your girl bobokiddifashion. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Pinterest and TikTok. Just search bobokiddifashion and you're going to see me. But while you're here, make sure you like, you subscribe and you turn on the notification. You don't want to miss the amazing tutorials I'm going to be posting, like how I started this week and layered it. So let's get started. So here's what this week was looking like. So I did this week like 2 years back, right? And I think it's time for an upgrade. So now let's upgrade. So first I'm going to take out the closure and take out the bundles and everything, right? So this video is going to be an all-in-one excluding the styling part, because I just noticed that the video is going to be too long if I include the styling part. I know my besties have a lot on their plate and they don't have a lot of time, so maybe you can watch the tutorial on how to do the wig and maybe you can come back later to watch the styling. So here's the wig cap we are going to be using, and we are going to do our head measurements. So in case you missed it, I have a tutorial on my page on how to do your head measurements. So since this is an all-in-one video, we are not going to go into that into detail because I already pre-marked my measurements on my canvas head. So I'm just going to follow that measurements. Now let's get started. So here's the canvas head. I use the polymer canvas head and I'm using a size 23 because I feel like that is my perfect head measurement. So here's what our wig cap is looking like, and we're going to put this wig cap on our canvas head. So like I said before, I already have the measurements of my canvas head pre-marked on this, so I'm just going to follow those measurements. But in case you don't have that, please check out my video on how to transfer head measurements. So you're going to take your ear to ear and you're going to place that on the sides, and then you're going to take your front to nape, that's the front of your head to the back of your head. And those are the main measurements you need, right? Especially for a closure wig. So now you're going to pin those parts down and we're going to move forward to adjusting the wig cap. So looking at this wig cap now, you can see that it has a lot of space. It has a lot of areas that we need to adjust before we start working. So what you're trying to do is just pulling it down or forward or up or sideways, but you're just trying to have your wig cap looking flat. How your wig cap looks on your canvas head is going to determine how it's going to look on your head or on your client's head. So after doing that, you're going to sew it down, and you could use a machine to do this because it's actually easier, right? But I just feel as if it's more convenient for me to just do this, and when I'm going to my machine, I just need to be sewing down my bundles. So here's what it's looking like, nice and flat, and now we know this is going to fit perfectly onto our head. We are going to take our closure and we are going to fold into two. So my closure already has a line in the middle to demarcate this, so I was just doing this for example, but I'm just going to follow that line in the middle and I'm going to pin it down, right? So after pinning that center, I'm going to turn to the back of my canvas head and I'm going to pin the center at the back as well. Now I've held it in place and we can proceed to the next part. So now we're going to go back to the front of the hair and we're going to pin the sides of the hair. Now you're going to bring the sides above just a little bit, maybe half an inch or 1 inch, depending on what you want. But since it's a closure wig, I don't really think it's necessary to bring it too much to the front, but it depends on your preference basis. So for me, I think half an inch is okay. So yeah, so after pinning the sides, you're going to go now to the back of the head and you're going to pin the other sides at the back, right? So now the front is secure and we're going to go to the back. Now that all the sides are pinned, you're going to find out, is your closure laying flat? Just because it's a closure doesn't mean it's going to be haphazard. It needs to lay flat. So I'm going to keep moving the pins till I find out that my closure is laying flat on all four sides. Then I'm going to begin the sewing down process. So you want to sew it close together, like don't give a lot of space or a lot of gaps, right? Sew it close together. And then we're going to do the other sides. And yep, we are done. And here's what our closure is looking like sewn down. And now we are ready for our next step. So since this is speed up, but I feel as if most of the details are still very much explained. But in case you need a more detailed, I can do that as per your request. So yeah. So now we are going to do our guidelines. So I'm going to be doing a single weft. So I'm going to be doing 0.5 inches, not up to 1 inch. So yep. So here's my guide that I'm going to use. And then after doing that, I'm going to try to measure my bundles and see what sections I'm supposed to skip, or if I'm going to double weft or anything like that. So I thought that instead of double wefting, I'm going to skip maybe 2 sections at the back, then it's going to fit perfectly, and that was my plan. Now let's get into action. So I haven't used my machine in a while, so it was kind of dusty, so I just needed to clean it and make it clean and perfect and pretty. So here's what my machine is looking like, and we're going to thread our machine. So you're going to, if you're using a butterfly machine, you can pretty much just follow what I'm doing here. So there are arrows that are guiding you, like you can see, and you're going to bring your thread down. Now after bringing it down, you want to use the motor, right, the one that you turn and that controls your needle. You're going to turn it and bring it up. That is going to take this other part up, which is going to take your thread, and then you're going to send it down to the needle part. So it has pretty much arrows that you can follow. So now I'm going to put the thread through the needle, and according to this, we're holding. So this is after putting it. So yep. So now we want to take our thread from under, right? We're going to plug our machine, and then we're going to put it on using that button. So if you're using the butterfly, this is going to be easy for you, but if you're using any other machine, you can just do your adjustments as you wish. So now we are going to begin. So we are going to put our thread, our bundle at the very first line. This is going to retain some length, especially if you're not going to trim it, right? Because if you're going to trim it, then maybe you can skip like a few lines before you begin. So yeah. So when I do my wigs, I really don't like cutting it unless the client wants that. But when I'm doing my wigs personally, I don't cut it. So what you see me doing is when I start on one line, right, by the time I get to the end of that line, I send my wefts to a second line, or let's say to the next line, and I end it on the next line. I don't know if you're understanding. Like I start on one line, and instead of ending my wefts on that line I began with, I'm going to send it up and end it on the next line. That way it's easy for me to flip it over when I'm doing the second line. So that's exactly what I did, and you can see me flip it over and continue. So when you start at the edge, make sure you always go forward and backward, like to secure it right, so that you don't easily whips. So I'm going to be using my guide. Like I said, I'm doing a single weft, so that for the my bundles to be enough, I'm going to skip a few lines at the back. So it's always advisable to skip a few lines at the back, because at the end of the day, the front part or the middle part is going to cover it. So yep. So I'm going to follow my guide. So if you're doing a double weft, I have a video on my page on how to double weft. You can check that out. But if you're doing a single weft, you could just do what I'm doing. And if you're not going to flip it, because it's actually very easy to sew your bundle, when you get at the end of the weft, you just cut it and start on the new line, right? It's actually very easy. So you can do that, or you can do my method where you finish on the next line, and then it's easy for you to flip it. That way you're going to retain your bundle's length, and you're not going to cut them off, and it's going to be easy to rewig. But either way, it's going to be easy to rewig no matter the method you use. So yeah, so I'm just going to basically be doing the same thing over and over and following my guide. So in the sections where I'm supposed to skip a line or two, I'm going to do that, so that my bundles are going to be enough to go around the hair. So yeah, so that's basically what I do. So I'm going to speed this up so I don't waste a lot of your time. So yep, so in the time being, I'm going to say I prefer machine wigging because it's very easy and it's very fast. I think that's the main reason why I prefer machine wigging. It's actually fast. It's actually fast. Like I spend lesser time machine wigging compared to hand wigging, but just do what works for you. So you can see at this point I was almost confused because my guide was almost coming off. So I always advise you use this markers pencil, this Telos pencil, yeah. So I used a chalk instead, so it was coming off. So that's why. So now I need to change my bobbin because the thread was finished. So yep, I'm done with that and moving forward. So I had to use my chalk to kind of draw the lines again because when I'm sewing, I noticed that I wasn't really seeing if I was following the line or not. And to avoid mistakes, I had to redraw them. So now we are going to proceed and yep. So here's what it's looking like. So like I was saying, I prefer machine reading because it's very fast and but it just depends on your preference, right? Maybe if you're used to hand reading, it's going to be easier for you and it's going to be fast for you. I wasn't used to machine rigging at all. In fact, I just learned machine rigging because of the amounts of wigs I had to do. And I noticed that if I was going to hand rig them, it was going to be more stressful for me. So it was just better for me to get a machine because it's going to be easier. So yeah. So but I'm getting to the end of the hair and when you're getting to the end, just try to see, like you could just take it out and try to go over the guideline and see if it's going to be enough, if you should skip a line, if you should double waves, or if you're going to have a bundle that is left. So, but if you follow my guide right, you're going to just have the exact bundle left. But then again, with machine rigging, it might get longer, it might get shorter. So just always try to see along the way as you go if it's going to be enough or not. So we're almost coming to the end of the video and I was very exhausted. You can see me resting. Like this is on one go. On one go, I finish a week and then I'm off to the next week. So yeah, so this was the final touches of the week and here's what the week was looking like. So perfect, so clean. Like it's so clean, guys. You can still achieve a very clean wig with hand wigging, so it's not a must, right? So if you can see, you can see the back, you can see the lines I had to skip for in order for this to be enough. So after that, I'm going to cut out this section where my closure is sitting right, and now here we have it. Here's what it's looking like, and we're going to wear this on our mannequin, on our canvas head, so that we can brush it out and you see what it's looking like. So just to give you a clean perspective on how clean this store is, you can see what it looks like at the back. Very clean, very flat, very perfect. So this is an invitation or an application for you to make me your stylist, and I'm going to make sure I deliver, giving you clean wigs. I'm not going to cut out your bundles, but if you want me to, I will. If you want it to be extra neat, it's going to be neat. If you want it to be perfect, it's going to be perfect. So guys, I think we've come to the end of this video. Thanks very much for watching and make sure you check out the part 2 of this video on how I'm going to style this wig, and I'm going to do some subtle layering. Like I'm not going to overlayer it because if you know me, you know my wigs are always going to go to the side, so we are going to do a side part obviously. So yeah, so here's what it's looking like, one final look, and there you have it guys. Thanks so much for watching. So if you're new to my page, please make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you turn on notifications so you don't miss out the styling of this week. So see you in my next video besties. Bye bye.